Are you one of these people that constantly gets WhatsApp videos sent to you on your phone or on the computer? I am. People, they very kindly send me stuff, and to be honest, it soon fills up my phone if I download these various things or these memes and things. And I've got so many contacts now, as you can imagine, running a YouTube channel. It's very difficult to keep up with everybody. And sometimes I don't get to watch them at all. But I did watch one this morning and I thought, this would be one great to talk about. Only you get a bit nervous when you've had a few strikes on this platform, because anything that mentions medical stuff, it must send a warning. A siren must go off at YouTube HQ, boop, boop, talking about medical stuff. And hang on, there's a difference of opinion or it's misinformation about to be given. And I guess somewhere in the WHO, the World Health Organization, that rather dubious operation that it wants to have a one world government in terms of all our medical stuff, also may get an alert and say, hang on a minute, if that's that Richard Vobes bloke, we don't like him talking about medical stuff because he may influence people. Now, I don't think I influence anyone, because you, the lovely audience, are, as far as I'm concerned, discerning enough to work out that the stuff that I come out of my mouth is not necessarily 100% accurate, or it may disagree with you, and that you can do your own due diligence and you'll work it out. Now, I try to be accurate, I try to be faithful, and I try to share stuff and ideas and opinions and things which I feel might benefit my audience. But of course, I'm not going to put a stake in the ground and say, actually, this is 100% guaranteed, because I believe that the audience are clever enough, or ought to be, and in this day and age must be extremely discerning about everything they watch. So even though somebody will send me something on WhatsApp and they'll say something and you'll go, oh, is that true? One has to ask those questions all the time. I think we have learned by moving away from mainstream media that we know we can't trust all of that, and there may be some elements of truth in what they say, but we know it's always being spinned. Or spun, I suppose is the correct way of saying that. And I think that as more and more people are now sort of switching away from mainstream media, we've also got to take that same discernment and take things with a pinch of salt, or at least consider it. So when somebody sends me a video this morning, I actually do believe that what they were saying in the video was true. And now I've got to be a bit careful here, because it's about medical stuff, and we know that YouTube don't like to spread the gossip of misinformation. So this was about cholesterol. Now, we've all been told in the past, have we not, that cholesterol was bad and that we ought to do everything that we can to get rid of it. And I believe that doctors are saying that statins are the thing to take. Now, I can't really say, without risking everything, what I want to say about cholesterol. But if you turn it upside down, for example, and when I say something is bad, or then just assume for the moment that that is the reverse of the situation. So although we've been told that cholesterol is extremely bad, the video that was talking to me said the opposite. Now, I happen to think that's likely to be true, and that these drugs that I mentioned earlier, that in order to defeat the cholesterol, they have to cause inflammation in the liver, which will then lower that cholesterol. Now, anything that causes inflammation is a genuinely not good thing for the body. And it does seem that these particular drugs that I mentioned earlier are perhaps not good for that situation. Now, you may have been prescribed them, and I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm not saying come off them or do anything. I'm just saying this is a video. Now, unfortunately, because it came on WhatsApp, I don't have a URL for it or anything. It was just one of those shareable videos, so I can't even put the link in the description. Unless I can find the name of the doctor or something, or find it on YouTube or somewhere else to verify it. But anyway, the main the main structure of this is, I think as I've mentioned at the beginning of the year, this is the year of revelations. We're going to find more and more the stuff that we have been led to believe to be good or bad is inverted. So, I mean, we were told for a long time, weren't we, that fatty foods, and people still believe this, that drinking full fat milk was bad, that you've got to have semi-skimmed or completely skimmed milk, when actually, and we were told that raw milk was not good for you, when actually the reverse is true. And of course, it goes across many, many other things, many other things that we've been told. This is where we're now beginning to realize that everything is inverted. And those who've been talking about the type of things that I've been talking about for a long time now know this. They know that whatever comes out of mainstream media is probably not accurate. Think about it a different way. We have a new government in place, squeaky clean and ready to go. Well, I don't think so. It's probably more like just more of the same, but accelerated. And we're going to have to be extremely careful and cautious about what they say and use our due diligence. So I think we're going to see some very interesting medical advice that may come from official sources that we will need to question very carefully and be on our guard about all those things that we put into our bodies, because especially those that have been created in laboratory, because there are so many natural things out there which are beneficial that are either being hidden or we're not told about, or we're being misdirected away from, which would be so much better. I mean, so many herbal remedies and things. People have been around for a long time before science decided to use petrochemicals and other things which are not good for us. So I just wanted to sort of point out that actually we need to just be on our guard a lot about the real misinformation that is coming along, and not just to sort of accept. It is difficult. I grant you it's difficult to accept that perhaps the industries which make lots of money do not have our best interest at heart. I appreciate that some people still say, oh, that Vobes, he's a conspiracy theorist. But when you see companies profiting at huge amounts of money and people are not necessarily getting better. I mean, just look around. You know, there are more people who are ill today than were ill 100 years ago. People seem to be suffering a lot more, whether that's mental conditions, whether that's they've got ADHD or attention deficit and things like that, autism, things like that. There does seem to be a correlation between the amount of petrochemicals and non-nutrient foods that have been developed, plastic, Frankenstein type foods, GM modification and all of that, plus the various soups that we're living in of not very useful stuff like the EMF and the various things they spray in the sky and all of that, that is making us ill. So it's not hard to start thinking, what is it? What is it that's making us ill? Is it that we've taken blind faith in these big companies that have made huge amounts of money and don't really seem to be putting us first? Because surely if they were, we'd all be healthy, wouldn't we not? And yet those people who are moving away from the mainstream theories, shall we say, for health and wealth and ways to live, seem to be a lot happier and getting on better in their lives. They may not have the flash cars and the big houses, they may have gone back to the land, they may have more of a simple life, but they seem to be a lot happier and healthier by not engaging in all the stuff that's being thrust down the tubes to tell us how to live our lives. Anyway, there we go. That's today's little waffle of a monologue here on the Vobes Show. I'm hoping to be back on the Richard Vobes channel the middle of next week. I also need to tell you that those that have been watching The Lawful Remedy, that there's a show that a road show that was being taken to Hull That's now been cancelled. There's just not enough sales on that one. So apologies for that. I've been told to let you know. Anyway, I'll see you again very soon.